أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Sensual Womb Whispers, the podcast by the House of Sacred Space. I'm your host, Rizana Shah Jahan. On this episode, I want to speak to you all about the most common statement or the most common um, phrase that's always thrown out as sacred females. The concept of being a queen. They're always being said, be a queen, behave like a queen, or or what's been going on is this thing about the princess treatment. But have you considered what it really they're talking about? Have you all thought about it? So now you all might think like, why is Riz talking about this in Ramadan? Like it's being a spiritual month and all. I need you all to start establishing some things, some processes and frameworks in Ramadan that when you're out of Ramadan, that you understand, like in a sense that you implemented it, that it's easy to walk through. So there's something that I have heard so many people say, oh, queen energy, queen, princess treatment. And a lot of women, think about it, yo. A lot of women have heard of these statements or heard about these statements or even heard these statements being told to them, and they automatically behave arrogantly. They automatically behave entitled. But that's not actually what it means. When you're a queen, that title comes with a lot of responsibilities. That title actually comes with a higher level of responsibility and a higher level of maturity. But somehow that part is lost on many of us. Like that part is, that part is lost on us. Let me put it to you bluntly. See, um, in the game of chess, a pawn can become a queen, but to become a queen, the pawn literally needs to play and stay in the game. A pawn doesn't become a queen by behaving like a queen. A pawn doesn't become a queen like talking like a queen. A pawn doesn't behave like a queen by dressing up, by play acting. Mhm. See, all of those things are critical. All those things are actually very important. If you're in the process of magnetizing a particular timeline, these are very important. You need to embody the identity of what you want to become, or you have to embody the identity of who you want to become. But in that process, a lot of people lose out on one thing. You're trying to become this person takes time. You can't just wake up one fine day. You can't just wake up, let's say, for example, you can't wake up on the first of Ramadan and decide, oh, you know what? I'm going to embody the queen energy. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. You need, it takes time. You need to work at it. You need to have a plan. You need to have intentions. You need to put one step in front of the other. And again, the thing about instant gratification comes into mind. What do I mean by instant gratifications? We are so ingrained. It's been ingrained into us to either forego gratification. In the sense, forego gratifications, sacrifice gratification. Don't even think about reward. Like be selfless. Uh, be such a selfless, generous person, or throw a tantrum, or demand what you want. Like the things that I've heard people, even coaches say is, oh, if you want something, go after it, demand it. You're the queen, you deserve to be treated like the queen, and all of that. And I always, but when we apply that into life, business, relationships, it does not work like that. It does not work like that. Just because, let me be blunt, just because you decided that you have to be treated like a queen does not mean the world will treat you like. When you decide to be treated like a queen, you need to start treating yourself like one. This is the link that many people miss out on. One moment, Joe. This is the link that many people miss out on. You need to start treating yourself like the queen. That does not mean that you go out buying fancy stuff. It's not mean that you go out buying expensive things. That's not treating yourself like a queen. No, it treating yourself like a queen means you have a schedule, you set a schedule, you work on your schedule, you do things accordingly, and you do all of that looking at a forward target, not just sitting here and pretending to, I mean, throwing a tantrum or wanting to be having spa days and wanting to be spoiled. That's not queen behavior. That is not queen behavior. Get that through to your head, Scott. Now, to become a queen, it takes time. But you don't want to invest that time. You don't want to invest that energy. You don't want to invest resources into becoming one. Now that's what's funny for me. You don't want to do that because you have, sorry, one moment, Joe. I'm just working on my headphones and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. Bismillah. Again, you don't want to work on yourselves. You don't want to work on your energy. You don't want to invest in your energy. You don't want to learn how to embody this energy. You don't want to. Why? Because you think that being a queen is uh, having a nail day, having money, getting money for nails, your hair, your makeup, and your clothes. And that's a queen. That's how a queen is treated. No, no, sorry, not at all. Let that sink in. For you, first of all, a queen does not demand to be treated like a queen. A queen does not go around saying, I'm a queen, you should treat me like one. Because whoever sees the queen will already feel the energy that she exudes. So if you have to go around saying, I'm the queen, you need to treat me like the queen that I am, there's something wrong there. There's something quite unclear there. There's something very, very unclear there, which means you're not embodying the energy that you say that you are. You're not embodying the energy that you say that is your true identity. So you expect somebody else to validate you when you're not even clear. That's number one. If you truly have the energy, the queen energy that you say you do, you don't need to spell it out. Know that. And if you have to spell it out, or if you constantly expect people to behave in a way that's favorable to you, in a way that makes you feel more comfortable. Why? No, nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything. So why are you expecting people to behave in such a way when you haven't embodied that energy? And the most important thing that everybody keeps forgetting, excuse me. See, Ramadan, the month of Ramadan is a month of surrender, subjugating your nafs, discipline, obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also miracles. This is a portal of miracles. Let's not sugarcoat that. It's a portal of miracles, and for us to achieve or reach those portals of miracles, we have to do certain things. We have to. That's the way you can. You can't just sit and not do the required ibadah, or no, sorry. You can't just sit around and not do the ibadah that will catapult you into opening the portals, but you expect the portals to just fly open for you because you're fasting. No, it doesn't work like that. Same with this energy of being a queen. It doesn't happen like that. You need to put in the work. But you all don't like the work. You want everything to come to you easy, and like you don't want to do any kind of hard work. How do you all expect things to how do you expect things to flow into your life? Oh, because I'm in my feminine energy. I have the ability to conjure things. Darling, for you to have the ability to conjure things, you need to implement a rigorous amount of work. For energy to rise, work needs to be implemented. And this is something which you're not taught. I was not told either. So if you're going to be a queen, you need to know that it will take time. You need to play the game, and you to play the game the long game. This is about, I mean, I just remember this read one of my mentees sent me. Where is a coach? She's saying, and she's a millionaire. Okay, she's a millionaire entrepreneur. She's not a coach. Sorry, she's a millionaire entrepreneur, and she was asked a question. When do you know? When do you know when to quit? And her answer was, I quit all the time. If this is not working, I quit. If that project's not working, I quit. I quit all the time, and that's what you need to do. But that is okay, or that is valid advice for somebody who's way up in their financial journey. That's amazing advice for somebody who's way advanced in their entrepreneurial journey. Like, that's because that's apt advice for somebody who's way ahead, because you've done the mistakes, you've taken the wrong turns, you trusted the wrong people, you have learned millions of lessons that you've learned through the journey of being an entrepreneur, or working, or have in your career. You've learned these valuable lessons. So now you come to a state where you cannot afford to waste time. You can't afford to waste time because you reach such a high level. Now, for you to build a new kind of momentum that will propel you into a higher dimension than you are, you need to be very, very choosy, and you need to cut out what doesn't serve you. Like, you need to cut out vigorously and mercilessly. But this advice, see, that works, and that is amazing advice for a queen. Think about yourself. That's the perfect advice for somebody who's already reached the level of the queen on the chessboard. But if you're just a pawn and you're dressing up like a queen, you'll be eaten very easily. If you're going to behave like if you're going to behave like a queen, but you're a pawn dressed up as a queen, and if you're going to try to implement decisions that a queen implements, it will backfire on you. Majorly backfires on you. Because you haven't lived the trajectory, you haven't gone through the potholes, you haven't identified things that a queen can identify just by looking at it. Because you don't have that experience, you don't have the know-how, you don't have that inner technology that comes with experiencing life. Now, this is something which us as the carriers of Raham, we get confused. Either we self, how do I put? Either we destroy ourselves, or we put ourselves on pedestals that we do not even know. We have not built we haven't built the metric to sit upon. And I see this happening in Ramadan a lot. Now, when Ramadan starts, everyone's pumped. Everyone's ready. Like, oh, I'm going to recite one Quran, two Quran. I'm going to recite three Qurans this Ramadan. I'm going to do like 10,000 istighfars a day. I'm going to go for all my Tarawih prayers. I'm going to get up at Tahajjud and do Qiyamul Layl for an hour. Honey, if you have not been consistently doing some form or the other of ibadah, of consistent prolonged tahajjud, consistent prolonged adhkars throughout the other months, you will not be able to do that in Ramadan. You might be able to do at the beginning, maybe even the first 10 days of Ramadan. But as it progresses, you won't be able to because you never took the time to do it outside of Ramadan. Because you think when Ramadan comes, you become the Ramadan queen. But honey, you should become the Ramadan queen before Ramadan starts. And then you're unable to do all of this. You're unable to keep up with the speed. You're unable to keep up with the plan that you have implemented for yourself. You're unable to do the things that you really decide you wanted to do. And then you deprecate yourself. You tell yourself my iman is not as strong as it used to be. I'm distracted. I'm a bad Muslimah. I need to work harder. I'm going to push myself. I'm going to strive. I'm going to take more time on this. All of these are unnecessary. All of this are absolutely unnecessary. I'm sorry. All of this are unnecessary. It's unnecessary because you haven't taken the time. You haven't taken the time before Ramadan, practicing, experimenting, trying to understand your moon cycle, trying to understand how your hormones function, trying to understand your mood, trying to understand your energy level. And if you haven't done that, go to my series Rise to Ramadan and go through episode I think it's 5. Go through episode 5 about mapping out your moon cycle. It's never too late, but what I want to talk to you on is stop being stupid. Stop giving into this nonsensical stuff like la hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Stop doing this to yourself. Stop thinking like, oh, calling yourself each one queen or say queen. It will not make you a queen. To be fair, queens don't call each other queens. Please. It's a drag queens. Have you seen how they are propagating so much stuff and you think that is for your benefit? The queen state or the queen title came from drag queens. They used to call each other queens because they're not truly queens. They're men. And then we have drag kings. Think, think. The term queen was so popularized by men calling each other queens. So you'll wonder like, okay, so what, Riz? I call myself queen. I call my friend queen. So what? What do you mean, so what? The energy of that word. You wouldn't be calling each other queens 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago. That would have been like cringe. Okay? But it's been so popularized now that we use it without even understanding the energy that's attached to it. So when you call each other queen, you're not actually calling each other royalty. You're referring to drag queens. And then you wonder why things are not working out. And then you wonder why is there struggle. And then you wonder why your energy is not at the level of um, optimal strength the way you want it to be. So stop calling each other queens. Please, please. We're gonna embody the energy of a true royalty. That takes time, that takes practice, that takes planning, and that takes intentionality. In Ramadan, and it's the best time in Ramadan to implement this. And it's the best time in Ramadan to understand that the ibadah that you do in Ramadan, you're not the benefits of this ibadah will be seen outside Ramadan, which means it takes time. And the ibadah is not the results, not only the results of the ibadah can be seen outside Ramadan, your transformation can be seen outside Ramadan because you put in so much work and energy in Ramadan in transforming yourself. And all of these habits, all of these new systems, all of these new lifestyle elements that you implemented, once you take it outside of Ramadan, it becomes easy and becomes a part of you. So, but it takes time. It cannot happen a snap of fingers. It cannot happen like that. You need to understand it takes time. And as a carriers of Raham, you also need to understand that the Raham doesn't do things in a hurry either. The Raham doesn't do things in a hurry. She doesn't do things in a hurry. She has a structure, she has a system, and things go through the system. And it takes days to flow from one stage to the other. But we behave like we have a 24-hour cycle. We don't. We have a 28 to 32 day cycle, which means it's long, it's extensive, and it takes time to build. No, you can become a queen and you can become the queen on the chessboard, but you need to play the game longer. And another thing that I've seen young women, young entrepreneurs do is that they want so much visibility. And this is another thing that is being taught on the social media landscape. Visibility, visibility, visibility. And when they talk about visibility, they're all like, oh, you need visibility, you need to be out there, people need to see your face, you need to have so many touch points. All of these are energy drains. Be very, very careful. Be very careful. You're a pawn. And I don't mean like you're a pawn in the sense you're something to be pawned with. No. Your position now is you're not reached a high level. Let's say you're in level 3, but the queen is on level 10. So when you're in level 3, visibility needs to be manufactured carefully. And this is another thing. What do I mean by visibility needs to be manufactured carefully? You're a sacred female. You are the carrier of the sacred heart. Every inch of you is energy harvesting portals for others. So if you're out there on social media, if you're out there in the world promoting your brand, promoting your services so vigorously without protection, you will be drained. Your energy will be harvested. It's a given. It's an absolute given. Your energy will be harvested because you haven't reached the level where you understand how to protect yourself, how to put on a protective bubble, how to take care of yourself, and how to take care of your energy. That you will only learn with time, with mentors, and by committing mistakes. And this is something that I keep saying, this is something I keep seeing in young entrepreneurs. I keep seeing this in young women. I keep seeing this in women who have transitioned from one sector of the industry to the other. No, again, you're the carrier of the Raham. So the Noor that's within your Raham is constantly being looked at to harvest. I will do another episode of Noor harvesting. You're constantly looked at, you're constantly targeted. You're constantly targeted, and we'll explain in Noor harvesting. So if you're constantly being targeted and constantly being focused for harvesting, what will you end up with? What kind of an energy are you going to end up with? Depleted, drained, broken energy. That's not the energy of a queen, is it? That's not a queen energy. What then? What then? What you planning on doing then? This is what I keep telling people. Be very careful. Be very careful in where you invest your energy. Be very careful in what you're doing because you want to be a queen so badly. And you assume that a queen's role or title or position is far greater than where you are. No. It it looks greater or it looks better or it looks amazing because she's gone through the whole journey of becoming that. She's gone through the journey of becoming, and you haven't. That is why that looks amazing. So, in wrapping up this episode, you're the carrier of the Raha, and you're the carrier of the Noor in the Raha. And a lot of entities do want to take that. Be mindful. And like I said, I will be talking more about this in the Noor harvesting episode. But for you, please have some discernment. Take time in Ramadan. Like ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance. Um, ask for guidance, reach out for guidance, ask to guide me on the right path, on the particular path. Ask, because in Ramadan, du'as are accepted. But we're not asking. We're not asking, we're not bothered, we're not concerned. Because we've been so indoctrinated with all of the shenanigans that's going on. You, again, you have every right to become a king. But it takes long and you have to play the game and you have to survive. And also, you need to be not completely visible. You need to take care of your visibility. You can't be visible to everybody. Because if people see you and they know you exist, you're not protected unless you have protection done. So please, this is something I've been wanting to speak about, and I'm glad I did, especially in Ramadan, because this is a perfect segue into explaining the Noor harvesting. And don't think that, don't think, oh, I'm not that important, I'm not that great, or I haven't done anything that important for entities to target me or things to happen. You're a sacred female. Second, you're a Muslimah. They will come to you. They will, because you're Noor, because of your Noor. And we are born with the Noor. We're born lit. We're born lit. We're born with the Noor. So of course they will come to you. And it will not allow you to reach the level of queen. It will force you to be the level of the pawn. Because the moment you reach queen, you're uncontrollable. You're unmanageable. Your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be so strong that no entity can harvest you. But once you realize that your raham is connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's arsh, nothing can touch you. Think about it. Alhamdulillah. With that, I will end this episode. I will see you on another episode. But listen to this episode again. Ponder upon it. Why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about queen and queen energy? It's there. And you knowingly or unknowingly are being sucked into it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and keep us on the right path. Ameen, ameen, ya Rabbal Alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.